Flow follows focus. All the neuroscience that I have researched is that flow follows focus. Essentially, the parts of the brain that deal with controlling attention, sustaining attention, intrinsic enjoyment on the task. Let's say you're writing out a script for a video like this. Let's say you're working on a website or an app. Let's say you're coding. Let's say you're doing schoolwork, music, anything. The intrinsic enjoyment of doing the task can come from the focus. And then what also ends up happening is the default mode network ends up decreasing in activity, and so the sense of self and fumbling over, you like stepping on, like fumbling over words, and the feeling of where your locus of attention is focused on yourself, rather your attention will be focused on the world or life or just whatever the task is. And then what also ends up happening is dopamine is increased. So there's generally like a feeling of motivation and feeling of peace and goodness. Because what they also reported was that negative cortisol experiences, when you're in that state of flow and focus, like a focused mind is a calm and happy mind. The flow allows for a peaceful, happy mind. And then the sense of self going away, where you just feel like you're flowing and you're not thinking about yourself, comes from the default mode network kind of deactivating with that. So there's forces that are activating, like the frontal cortex and stuff activating to allow focus, and certain parts of the brain to allow focus and sustained attention and all that stuff. And then there's parts of the brain that are deactivating, that allow for a feeling of like peace and focus and loss of sense of self and all that stuff. So flow follows focus, and flow is when we find that we're doing the best at things, we're enjoying things, there's intrinsic enjoyment, and things are a lot happier when you're focused. So if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. And the way we get there is by focusing, by sustained voluntary attention on a given task, on a given thing. And even people, for those who struggle with ADHD, not only are there like medications and things like that can help it, but there's also, it's just a delay, right? From the research that I did, there's a delayed initiation for up to 20 minutes for ADHD. It's not like a universal rule. It's just like from that study, on average, there's a 20-minute delay for those with ADHD. So you still can enter flow.